Hi, I'm Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video. The title of today's video is Does the Ideal Partner Exist? Well, what a big question. I think many of us have all this criteria. We want perfection, and sometimes we're looking at the other person's profile and not really thinking about ourselves and what we are giving out. Anyway, I was inspired to make this video because someone wrote me a very interesting long email the other day called Video Idea, Why is Venus Single? And he's thinking, why is such a beautiful, intelligent, witty and original woman as such as yourself single if she wasn't choosing to be so? Well, I don't really talk about my relationship status on here, but let's just say the singleness is a recent occurrence. And I'm kind of okay now. You know, there's always a time when you become single and you're kind of not quite ready, but I feel kind of almost more ready now. So yeah, I wasn't single and now I am single, without going into too much detail. So anyway, this person has given me some advice on how to find a partner that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to give my own opinion. So he said something about criteria, and he said vegan. If the person you're looking to meet has to be vegan, you immediately eliminate some 90 to 95% of all prospects. If you don't believe those figures, count up all the vegan restaurants where you live compared to non-vegan eateries. Well, I agree with that. And I have actually made a video on this channel called Dating Non-Vegans or something. And I've actually never dated a vegan, and I've never ever said that my Mars has to be vegan, because that would be very difficult. And we live in a society where people do eat meat, and I was at a dinner on Saturday night and I was between two people eating pork, and if I get upset about that, I know my life is going to be very difficult. However, that was a special Christmas dinner for Toastmasters, the public speaking club that I'm a part of. But usually I am mingling with people who lead a more conscious lifestyle. I have a vegan group here in Barcelona, and we organize social events every single weekend. So I'm always associated with them or spending time and mingling with vegan people. And if not, I'm in personal development and spirituality book clubs. And in general, I mean, these people are not big meat eaters. They are maybe flexitarians or vegetarians and want to be vegans, but they can't quite give up a certain amount of things. So for me, it's not really that difficult for me to meet vegans because I'm actually mingling or associating with them a lot myself. However, I don't consider it to be a requirement. And also the men I have attracted into my life have always been quite vegan curious and interested in discovering the type of restaurants that I go to, or even the type of way I cook. And they end up cooking my meals better than I do, which is fantastic. So I do tend to attract men. This is kind of a subconscious thing. I do attract men who are good cooks, who are not on social media, and who are very tidy, which is great, isn't it? I mean, that for me, I mean, that's not my criteria, but I just seem to kind of attract that because I obviously need that in my life, maybe. Yeah, so I don't have the vegan criteria, and I've never said that I did, actually. Age range, well, for me, I think it has to be older than me. I have been kind of like meeting a lot of guys who are quite a bit younger, but I'm not really into that, to be honest. I do have some friends who go for younger guys, but I just think, it's nice to kind of share experiences and talk to them and have them as friends. But I think for me, I'm not really interested in a kind of friend with benefits scenario. I want to meet the one, I suppose. I've just done all that in the past. I'm just not really interested in that right now. Unless it's, I don't know. I just think I'd rather just kind of like wait and be celibate and then have a relationship. I know you can't really plan life like that. It's kind of impossible. So I do ditch the criteria. But I'm going to talk about my criteria in a sec. What else did you say? Yeah, so age range, older. And I don't mind. 10 years older than me would be quite good. Occupation. Well, something that I do like and admire is, it's not just about the occupation, but I really like to spend my time with people who are in charge of their own time, because I think time is a currency, just like money is and just like health is. And I have a very, very flexible schedule, and I'd like to be with someone who has a flexible schedule, because I've been with people who really don't, and it's just kind of impossible to, I don't know, not impossible, nothing is impossible, but I do find it a bit difficult or challenging to kind of meet up with those people, especially in the week. They're tired in the evening, they have to get up early, and I want to be with someone who can take me for lunch on a Tuesday and not have to kind of pull a sickie to do that, you know. That's something that's quite important to me, actually. But I do mingle again with people who are self-employed or entrepreneurs, so that kind of criteria is not too difficult for me. And also occupation, I don't really care, but as long as I'm obviously, I think I'm more attracted to people who are working in something that they are passionate about. They're not just like focused on money, but also kind of something a bit more like passionate, normal stuff. Social, sexual, intellectual, financial compatibility. Well, yeah, that's all very important stuff. But I don't actually have any criteria. And I've already mentioned this in a few videos before. I don't think you can go about dating and trying to meet someone with this list of things that you want them to have, or characteristics that you want them to have. After reading this book, Calling in the One, which is absolutely amazing if you want to call in the one into your life, it really talks about having a list that's based on how you want someone else to make you feel, such as desired, supported, things like that. That's kind of like more important than he has to be vegan, it has to be this age, he has to have this job, you know? So I'm really focused on that, and I have been like that anyway in my life, but if you can cook vegan meals, that would be a great plus. But obviously other things such as sexual compatibility is very important, intellectual incompatibility as well, and there's so many things, but I don't think you can shut it down, and I agree with that. And what else can I tell you? Yeah, so what's my advice? Ditch the whole vegan criteria. Already done that, doing that. And I don't really care if someone's had a past as well, such as if they are separated or divorced, because obviously as you get older, more people do have pasts, and that's not something I really care about. And the other day I made this video about what's your body count, and someone made a comment asking, well, would you accept someone who has a very low or a very high body count? And I just think, I don't even have the conversation, because I was with someone who did have a high body count, but that body count was when he was a lot younger, and then he had a spiritual awakening, and then he's completely transformed his vision. So who am I to kind of judge what he did 10 years ago or 20 years ago? You know, it's just, it doesn't really matter to me. What's important is what they're doing now, and the body count is number one. It's with me, you know. I think I do love monogamy. I think for me, if someone said they were polyamorous, that would be a massive deal breaker. Yeah, so you've got to have you know, some kind of open criteria, but also know what things that you're not going to accept. Yeah. And also in the general population, not in the kind of like conscious circles that I'm mingling in, it's very difficult to I remember I was out in this bar a couple of weeks ago, and there's all these guys just like really drunk there. One of them was just like, whoa. And I've kind of been in those scenarios many times in my younger days. And I just think, oh wow, someone who's kind of like really getting wasted every weekend is just something that is another deal breaker for me. But maybe that's another video, relationship deal breakers. But anyway, let me tell you about this book, Calling in the One. As I told you just now, it does talk about having this list of things, but it's about how you want someone to make you feel. And this is a book that is a 49-day course, and every day you read a little bit, and it's kind of like an extension of therapy. So you're kind of like looking back at your childhood and your parents, your relationship with your parents, because that does affect our adult relationships, letting go of things in the past. And there are all sorts of different exercises to do every day as well. So it's kind of like a process of getting yourself ready and receptive and magnetic to call in the one. And I think it's absolutely amazing. I've read this book and I haven't called in the one, but I have been on a few dates, and it's been an interesting and entertaining process to kind of like know what I want and what I don't want. But what I have learned in this process is that I am not the kind of person who can meet someone online and then just go to a bar and be there saying, I don't know who's coming, I've never seen them in my life, don't know who they are, and then strike up some conversation with a stranger. That's really something that I have done many times in the past. I've done it a bit quite recently as well, and it's something that makes me very uncomfortable. So my approach is just to be more and more social, and that's what I'm doing at the moment, is trying to mingle with people who could be candidates for being the one in my life. Anyway, so yeah, so the ideal partner, well, it'll be ideal for the time and the place that I am in, but also you can't be desperate and go for people who have some kind of deal breaking characteristics. I think it's important to be complete with yourself, and then someone else is an add-on. I think that's really important. And also with lots of great sex toys, I don't really need to have casual sex, which is another fantastic thing about being an orgasm activist. Yeah, so that's what I think about the ideal partner. What do you think? Does your ideal partner exist? And if so, tell us how and why and what your approach is to dating. I would love to hear about it. And if you have any suggestions for new videos, don't hesitate to contact me at venus@venusohara.org, and I will see you very soon.